Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk to you guys about how to stay consistent in tough times. So guys, listen, hear me out. All of us humans, right? Male, female, child, adult, elder, we all go through difficult things in life, right? No one is exempt from pain who resides here on earth, right? We all deal with challenges, we all have obstacles, we all deal with fear, doubt, negative thinking, emotional roller coasters, depression, anxiety, right? We deal with breakups, we deal with, maybe you lose your job, you lose your house, you lose a family member, maybe you get sick, you get physically ill and you can't work. Whatever you deal with, I'm not saying any of them are worse or better or less severe than the other. You have to maintain your consistency. That is something that you always must maintain, right? In my life, guys, I've had addictions, I've had adversities, I've had girls curve me, I've had dozens of girls play games with me. I've had, I'm not trying to glorify my issues or try to claim that I'm special, but I'm just giving you some examples. Like I've been, like the basketball team cut me twice, right? Like I didn't make the basketball team twice in high school. There's so many things. Like I'm not, like I said, I'm not glorifying myself, but there's things that I've been through that I don't really talk about because I don't want to make it seem like I'm a victim. But one thing that I can always say, no matter if I self-sabotage or not because of those issues, there's two to three things that I've always maintained. I've always been consistent with the gym. I've always showed up on time for work. I never called out, right? No matter how bad my porn addiction was, no matter how many girls curved me, no matter if I got dropped from a basketball team, no matter if anything bad happened, or no matter, let's say like it's subtle, like it's just like, hey, I'm not feeling it that day, or I'm thinking about something in the past, or I just had a rough day at work. It doesn't matter what it was. I've always been consistent. I've always showed up. It didn't matter what I felt or what happened or what sort of issue I was facing at that time or currently do or whatever. I always show up. I always maintain the consistency. Now, there's gonna be times where you don't feel like doing shit, right? Just because, hey, maybe nothing bad happened to you, but there's just gonna be times where, hey, I just don't feel like going to the gym today. I don't feel like uploading this video. I don't feel like reading a chapter of this book. I don't feel like showing up to work on time, or hey, I'm gonna call out today, right? And what you guys gotta realize is that you're either gonna choose one way or the other. It's either, like, in my mind, I think about my life and what I do in two ways. It's either, hey, guess what? I'm gonna be consistent and get this shit done, or I'm not, and in turn, I'm gonna self-sabotage. I'm gonna watch pornography, I'm gonna play video games, I'm gonna drink, I'm gonna eat a bunch of shitty food, or I'm just gonna sit on my phone all day, watch mindless entertainment. It's like, I don't give myself an option. It's almost like, hey, like, failure, I might stumble or I might, make a mistake on something, but in general, like, because it's hard to beat someone who's consistent. It really is. Like, it's really difficult to lose if you're consistent. So with that mentality, I realized that there's no in between. Like, basically what I'm trying to say is it's either good or bad. It's either self-improve or self-destruct, because there's no like, hey, like, for example, like, let's say, okay, I feel like shit today. I'm not gonna work out. I'm not gonna upload a video. I'm not gonna read a chapter of a book. I'm not gonna study this course that I'm working on. I'm just gonna go home. I had a rough day and I'm gonna chill. No, it's, hey, I'm gonna self-sabotage because I feel like shit. I feel like a victim. I'm letting my thoughts get the best of me. I'm letting my life circumstances get the best of me, or what I associate my life circumstances with, right? So you have to understand that in your mind, you can't. They say that, they have that saying, mind over matter, right? You have to really look at yourself and think, is my situation that bad? Yeah, I might have got curved by that girl. Yeah, I might have got demoted at this job. Yeah, I might have had this happen to me or that happened to me in the past. But think about it, right? there's people that would kill for an opportunity to live in the United States, to come here, to work, right? I work at a convenience store in Florida, right, where I have countless immigrants come in my store day in, day out, right? Like from Guatemala, from Mexico, from, Haiti, from just everywhere. And I'm like, damn, like these guys just show up every day. They're doing, like I said, they're doing laborious, easy, mindless jobs, really. I mean, they're doing, construction, landscaping, all that stuff. But guess what? They don't bitch. They don't have a pussy. They don't have a victim mentality. They're here and they're working, right? And it's like, they don't let it's like only first, it's like, it's only in America and North America, like in North America or even like, UK and some parts of Europe where like we have like these like cope mechanisms where it's like, hey, like I have a mental health disorder, or I feel depressed today, or I have negative thinking, or I need to see therapy. It's like, yo, like when I see these immigrants, it's like they don't talk about none of that shit. Like that's not even in their vocabulary. So what I'm trying to say is like, yo, like realistically, you got to put yourself also, you got to look at your life and really see, like, put it into perspective. Like, damn, it's really not that bad. I live in a first world country. I have water. I have a kitchen I can cook food in. The grocery store is 5 minutes up the street and I can buy any food that I like. The gym's open. I can go to the gym. Like, life's not that bad. If anything, it's a little too easy. But even then, like, life is not that bad. Right, so I think a lot of us first generation, like a lot of us, like, well, Gen Zers, but just in general, Americans in general, I think we have this sense of like, I don't know, like our problem, like we have like problems that seem like so grandiose, and it's like, yo, it's not that bad. Like, if you look around us, life is not that bad. So it's like, you really have to look at yourself and be real with yourself, be honest with yourself, and say, hey, am I being a pussy, or is my life actually difficult? Do I live in Gaza, or do I live in a third world country where there's no jobs, where the government sucks, where there's no internet connection, where there's war, where there's crime, where there's just a whole bunch of nonsense, right? In the United States, there's basically none of that. None of that, right? I mean, maybe in some cities here and there, but in general, in most parts of this country, Canada as well, and most democratic societies in Europe, there's really not that much crime. There's really no war, right? We have food, we have water, we have electricity, we have the internet. Why is life so bad? Why can't you be consistent? Why can't you do what you have to do? Why can't you show up to work on time? Why can't you go to the gym? Why can't you read that chapter of that book? Why can't you upload that video? Why can't you write that chapter of your own book? Why can't you go to class today? Why can't you complete that homework assignment? Are you gonna let your negative thinking or your depression or your whatever you want to label your mental health issues stop you from doing what you need to do, when there's people that would die to come here, and there's people that live in this country right now that are immigrants that work 50, 60 hours a week every day and don't complain about anything? We got to get real. We have to get real with ourselves and really understand where we lie and where we live and how our current situation is as Americans. It's not that bad. I know inflation's tough. I know the economy's tough, and I totally understand that. But I know I'm kind of going on a rant here, but realistically speaking, there is no excuse for any of you guys to not be consistent day in and day out. Now, okay, for example, if you have, let's say you had a bad night of sleep, you got 2 hours of sleep because, your girlfriend was up, or, maybe you have a kid and your baby woke you up or whatever, and, you got to go to work that next day, you go to work, and hey, maybe that day you don't go to the gym. But, that's an exception to the rule. Most of the time, all of our excuses or all of our reasons why we can't get the thing done is BS. It's BS. Be real. It's BS. Oh, I don't feel like it today, or oh, I'm thinking I'm thinking about something in the past that I didn't like, so I'm just gonna go home and self-sabotage. No, we can't fall victim to that. And then another thing too is you gotta look at yourself realistically and understand that as a man, most of you guys are men who watch my channel. Emotions, we have to be stoic. Emotions, you guys gotta understand that your emotions are fleeting. Your thinking is your negative thoughts, your doubts, your fears, your anxieties. All of it comes and goes. Like, I have times throughout the day where I feel like crap. I'm anxious about something, or I'm fearful about this, or I think about a story about something, about my job or about this person that makes me feel, like shit for an hour out of the day or 30 minutes out of the day. But guess what? Am I gonna let that stop me from fucking coming on here and inspiring you guys? No. Because I know that my message needs to be heard. I know that there's people that count on me. I know that my girl counts on me. I know that my family counts on me, right? And I know, guess what? Rent's due at the end of the month. My mortgage is due at the end of the month. That's what you guys also got to understand too. It's so funny. Like, a lot of people think like that there's just like this time where like, oh, I can chill or I can relax. It's like, no. If you live on your own, if you have bills to pay, if you have a family to pay, and you're, as a man, not consistent, you're effing up bad. You're letting people down, you're letting yourself down, and in general, you're just not helping anyone out, including yourself, right? Like, realistically speaking, putting food on the table, like paying for your shelter, that is a very cold, hard survival aspect of being a human being that you cannot afford to lose. You can't afford to lose your house. You can't afford to not have enough money to put food on the table. Imagine as a man, right? Think about it. You got a family. Let's say you got a wife. You got 2 or 3 kids, right? And you're gonna let your emotions and things in the past prevent you from getting shit done and advancing in your career and building your business. Imagine that. And now, because you decided to be lazy or let your emotions or your fears or your overthinking get the best of you. Now, hey, I can't work today, honey. I can't work today. I feel like shit today. I can't go to the gym today. And now, guess what? Now, 2 days later, when you have to go to the grocery store, or 3 weeks later, whatever, now you don't have enough money because you've been calling out, you've been bullshitting, you've been drinking. Now you're getting fat. Now your wife doesn't crave you, doesn't desire you because you're fat, because you stopped going to the gym. Guys, it never pays to not be consistent. If you are not consistent, by default, you will fail. It's that simple, right? It is that simple. If you decide to be lukewarm about it, or only show up half the time, or only do X, Y, and Z half the time, no, it's got to be all the time. If your life isn't consumed by the gym, by your side hustle, by your job, by creating, by being resourceful, by providing value, then you're really like letting yourself down. You're letting everyone who depends on you down as well. So I'm not saying that, there's different severities to different people's situations, and I totally understand. I mean, there's things that I can't comprehend or put into words because I haven't experienced it. But what I can say is that for the most part, a lot of what we say our problems are BS, and it's not a good excuse to not do what you need to do, basically, to get things done, right? So yeah, guys, especially as a man, right, we got to be stoic. I'm not saying that you can't feel emotions. I'm not saying that you can't, if you have to go cry by yourself, or, you've had, like, if you had a breakup or something bad happened to you and hey man, if you need a day or 2 to deal with it, go ahead and deal with it by yourself. Let the emotions come through. But hey, guess what? We get right back up that next day and we going to work. We clocking in. And we hitting that gym right after too. Right? So you can kind of, plan it out. Like, if you really feel like you need to, take a day or 2, okay, that's fine. I understand that. But at the end of the day, you can't let it destroy you. You can't let it turn into something where it goes on for weeks and months and then years. And now your life is starting to really have a downward spiral. That's kind of my point here, right? Everyone's going to have their bad days, or everyone's going to have their days where, hey, once every 90 days or once every 6 months, if I miss the gym, okay, that's different. But if you're missing the gym once, twice, 3 times a week, that's a different story, right? So we got to put our things, our situations into perspective and understand how severe it is, what we need to do. But in general, the big picture here is we got to be consistent no matter what, right? No matter what happens, you got to maintain your consistency, right? Because especially as a man, right, you got bills to pay, you have your family to provide for, and even if you don't have a family to provide for, right, don't you want to be in a position to be able to do that? So you got to be consistent, guys. You must be consistent no matter what happens. Yeah, guys, so that's it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you are new, please make sure to subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, anything, feel free to leave it down below. And yeah, guys, I hope you guys have a good one. Peace.